Hi you guys. Okay, look at the scenery has really changed. Okay, I wish that the sun wasn't making me into a big shadow the other way, because you could see the lake and the lily pads, and there's these kind of geese that have the black neck and ducks, and it's so beautiful. But then maybe at a different day we'll do it earlier or something, so that then I'm not in the shadows. But anyway, isn't this beautiful? You can't do this in Miami, it's so boiling. And you notice it's perfect weather. I was able to take off my sweater. Okay, before anything, I want to give you the shout outs I talked about. Now, the only ones I saw, I didn't scroll down all the way, and I know that there was some in the beginning who had asked for shout outs, but now I think Rashid and his brother Walter, but I think that's the names, but it's been so long ago and they're so down on the bottom. Just remind me again, and if I leave out anybody who asked me, please tell me, because I'd be more than happy. Okay, first of all, yesterday was Kai Smiles times capital D's birthday. I hope you had the best day yesterday, and happy birthday, Kai. And then Josh Redning, and That's So Ava, exclamation point, question mark, and then Katie Doll 781. I love you guys so much, and thanks for asking me to give you a shout out, and I'm more than happy to do that. Okay, where I left off, I was on my way to Oregon to stay with my parents before I went on my huge adventure. I had never been out of the country by myself, of course with my parents when they would take care of my passport and all that kind of thing. But now, I mean, my parents drove me to Seattle because I was going to fly across the Arctic to England. That was a route that I was going to take, I guess. It was the middle of the night, so I didn't get to see anything. But I remember there's a picture of me sitting in front of this huge, it must have been a 747 or one of those big jumbos, and I was sitting in front of it because you could see it right in the window, and I looked like I was in shock, and I was in shock. I didn't even know what was happening to me. My life was a huge whirlwind. And so anyway, on the plane ride over, I was too excited. I could not sleep. But my parents, we didn't know any better, and we booked me to Heathrow, which was a couple of hours away from where I was staying, or at least an hour and a half or whatever, and I was gonna have to take a bus and everything. They booked me there instead of right near where I was in, my English people know, I was in West Sussex. Gatwick Airport was right there, like 15 minutes away. But we didn't know any better at that time. In the future, we knew. But anyway, so I could not sleep at all. So by the time I get to Heathrow, I was falling asleep standing up. And then I had to, we didn't know any better either. I packed the largest suitcase you can imagine. And I forget, I don't think it had wheels. Back in those days, they didn't. This was 1979. I don't think they had wheels. And you cannot imagine. It was so heavy, and you should have seen me lugging it up and down stairs. I mean, I was in torture, but I was so happy to be there. But at the same time, I was in torture. And I don't even know how I got from one place to the other through customs and everything, and how I found my way onto the bus. But I did, and you know what? Immediately, I fell asleep on the bus. And I think I must have told the driver where I need to get off, because I think I slept the whole way, but I was in total shock. And so then I don't remember being picked up, but I arrived at where I lived, Homestead Manor. Youth with a Mission, I already told you, YWAM has bases all over the world, and they have gotten, by faith, you know what, everybody who goes to Youth with a Mission, nobody earns a salary. Nobody. We we believe that if God sends you someplace, then He will provide for you to have that experience, for you to be there. All you need to know is the perfect will of God, and then He provides everything you need. And in my future stories, I'm going to let you know how He's done that for us over the years. But this was my first experience with that. I, as I told you before, happen to have a trust fund, and I'm so grateful. That's how I got to be there. You know, the trust fund paid for me and everything, and then they sent me little checks every month to be able to support myself while I was there. But they paid for the whole 1 year in advance of me being there, and that was very unusual. And later on, I became a little jealous of those who didn't have that experience of having their money all paid off, because I was able to witness God providing for them in such miraculous ways when they had nothing, to be able to be their son. I don't know if they still do it, but back in those days, they would allow people to come, even if they only had part of their payment, knowing that it was the will of God, and then they would see God pay off of all of their fees, and they would see God pay for their outreaches to foreign countries like Thailand or the Soviet Union or whatever. I'll be talking about stuff like that in the future, but it was amazing. But in my case, I had money, but as I said, I got a little jealous. Anyway, and I was secretly able to anonymously be a little benefactor for some of these people when God would show me, give here, give there, and not, you know, without them knowing, you know. And it was so exciting to see the joy on their face. But, sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself because I'm so excited about all the things that happened. But here I was, and we lived at this huge manor house which God had provided for the mission supernaturally. A big manor house on, I think it was 17 acres of pure garden and glorious, beautiful England. And with cows in that field and flowers in that field and corn over there, and it was just amazing. But the most amazing thing was to walk through the huge manor doors and see the front hall just with there was some stained glass windows. You know, that's how, what you see in the movies, that's how it really is with these old, beautiful homes and everything. And have I gone a long time, Jose? Do I have time to tell more, a little bit more? Okay. One more little story? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so anyway, I was in shock, and here I was. They showed me to my room where I was going to be staying. And I was going to be living in a room with 11 other girls. A big room, but there was one huge bathroom that we all shared with one bathtub, one toilet, one sink for 12 of us. And anyway, I was on the second bunk. The way they did it, they had built these special bunks out of wood that were 3 tiers high. And I was on the second one, and I knew there was this older lady there. Now, I wouldn't think she was old. She was probably younger than I am now, but I think she was in her early 50s or maybe late 50s like I am. But her name was Eleanor. I think she passed away by now because it's been so long. But her name was Eleanor. And she had the biggest heart. She was so excited. She was retired, and she was going on her first mission, learning how to become a missionary in her older age. I won't say old age, but in her older years, later years. And so they had thought, oh, here's this old lady. They put her on the first, the bottom, one of the bottom ones. And she was a little bit perturbed because she wanted to be treated like everybody else, and it's like they were catering to her age. And so I helped her convince everybody that she wanted to be on the 3rd story of a bunk. Anyway, so that's all I'm going to tell for now. But let me just say one other little thing. If you remember, when a long time ago I told you that I was the biggest narcissist of all time. I don't know, maybe some of you don't know what that means, because I'm talking to people from around the world, you know, and maybe another country doesn't know. A narcissist is somebody who thinks that the world revolves around them. Somebody who doesn't care less about anybody else's feelings. Somebody who is the most selfish person in the world. And that's the way I was. I was so much so that my parents let me smoke in front of them at the age of 15 because they said to me, excuse me, I just swallowed wrong. They said to me, we'd rather you smoke in front of us than behind our back. But anyway, I was such a narcissist that I would lay on the couch watching TV, smoking my cigarettes, and say, Mom, I'm all out of cigarettes. Would you go to the store for me? Mom, I'm all out of coffee. Would you bring me some coffee? I treated her like a slave. I treated everybody around me like a slave. And now, here I was living, you know, one of 12 girls in a room sharing one bathroom. We're gonna see how God changed me, how God dealt with me. But anyway, it's an exciting adventure and I love you guys. I can't even tell you how much I love you. And one of you this morning made me cry. I literally cried because you touched me so much and when I was writing back to you. I love you guys, and uh-oh, I'm in the shadows. Have I been in the shadows the whole time? Oh well. Anyway, I love you, and dream big and go for it!